Ugo Monye, Chris Robshaw and Nick Evans. Thought we'd get you guys sat around to tell our viewers and listeners a bit more about the working week of a professional rugby player. Who wants to kick us off? Monday morning, say you've got a game on the Saturday. How do you guys get started?
Everyone looks to me.
Ugo, who's injured at the moment, so is spending a lot of time doing anything.
I can't say that as professional rugby players you do all suffer from Monday morning blues. After a day off, it probably takes you a bit longer to get going than it does on any other day. But generally start by going into the gym, having a bit of a recovery session, so that'd be a bike or cross trainer or a treadmill. A little bit of a weight session, have a little meal after that, go into a meeting. And then you have a training session followed by that on the pitch.
Oh, I see.
On the pitch?
Do we not?
No.
Okay, sorry. It's been a while. We've changed.
Yeah.
Chris?
A Tuesday, yeah, we come in on Tuesday then.
We're still on Monday.
We're still on Monday, are we? Then I go home and go to sleep. No, and then our Tuesday's that's the hard day of training, so we come in and kind of do our hard weight session, our lower leg stuff, like our squats, have a bit of food, and then the forwards go out and do their scrums and mauls and the backs. But it's still a little bit of kicking, unfortunately. Five-a-side football most of the time, yeah. which annoys a couple of the forwards, I must say.
Is this true, Nev?
I wouldn't call it...
every now and then.
Every now and then. You got to warm up somehow, but yeah, no, we don't do the mauling and the scrum and things like that, so it's just part of being a back, I guess.
Yeah, the good things. And then we go out and do our defensive sessions, so it's all kind of the stuff we did wrong on the weekend, whatever that may be. We go out and kind of try and improve it and work on our defence, like I said. And that's Tuesday.
In terms of any of the reviews that you guys get given sort of from games, is it very specific, tailor-made individual comments, like what did you do this for in particular, or is it more stylistic about how the team's played?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Every game gets recorded and then it gets cut down into sub-units as well as your individual, so you can watch all your individual clips, so you get a chance to be able to look over your game as well as talk through it with the coach if you want to, but that's generally what your Monday afternoon meeting's for. Talk about where the team went wrong, if you've lost the game, or even if you've won a game, you still pull out the positives as well as negatives. And if guys have made individual errors, then it's not an open forum, but the coaches should feel free enough to be able to tell a player like Ugo, why did you do that again? And then I would say it's a discussion, because you know when you've done something wrong, you've done something wrong. So they tell you and just say not to do it again, and you probably end up doing it again. And then getting dropped.
Then you get the big Tuesday chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you all fear?
The Tuesday chat.
Yeah,
you don't want to tap on your shoulder 5 minutes before the meeting, because you know it's not good. Can we just have a quick word?
No.
And is that likely to come from, say, Connor, or the forwards coach or the backs coach?
No, that's normally Connor, isn't it? Yeah.
Connor makes the call, doesn't it?
Yeah, Connor makes the kind of final decisions, and that'll be his job.
Okay, so let's go from midweek then towards building up to the game.
Wednesday is our day off, so usually involves a bit of golf if it's a nice sunny day, or the boys just do their whatever they want. Coming into Thursday, it's a bit more team orientated there. We'll have weights in the morning, not like big legs or anything like that, more upper body, just a bit of a top up. Backs might have a bit of a speed session, something like that. We'll go into a meeting, maybe preview. We probably would have done the preview on Tuesday, but maybe a bit of a top-up preview of what's coming up, who we're going to play and things like that. And then we're out on the field doing a bit of team stuff, mainly team-oriented things. The main key of a Thursday session is just kind of nail down what we want to do in attack, our patterns and things like that, so everyone's on the same wavelength. And then the afternoon, the rest of the boys have off except for myself, and the rest of the kickers we'll keep trucking along, come down to the stoop here and do a bit of kicking. We have a kicking session on Thursday, so we come down to the stoop and go through our kicking and just get a bit more of a feel of the ground, which is always good.
Fantastic. And then it's game day.
We got Friday.
Friday we just come in and do a little bit of line-outs, and the backs do a couple of plays and
check the calls.
And then it's just kind of captain's run, where we can kind of run 5 or 6 phases, and that's about it really.
And will you guys be given the calls? Will that all come from the coaching staff? Will you guys ever work on moves yourselves and go, listen, we've got an idea, we might want to try this, or is that really what the backs coaches are paid their money for?
I think the coaches, they've got a pretty good idea of what they want to do for the weekend, but I think the players do have a big influence. Like Nick being the number 10, he gets to make the calls at the weekend. So if he's got any thoughts or any other backs, then it certainly be discussed. but you can't have 7 different guys or wanting to do their own move at the weekend, so you kind of whittle that down by the Tuesday, so you've got real good clarity going into the weekend.
Fantastic. And then it is game day.
And it's game day, yeah. Come in and kind of everyone has their pre-match meals. And
how do you prepare in the morning, Saturday morning? What do you
prepare? I like to try sleeping as late as possible, kind of probably to about 10:30 or so. Have a light kind of an omelette, some salad, something like that.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Sorry, Weetabix. And then
rumbled.
And then you kind of come in and start getting on Gatorade. That's the key before a game. Want to make sure you're hydrated with that and water.
Good.
And then it's go time. Yeah.
Fantastic. And after a game, are we in too much of a professional area for there to be a cheeky beer with the opposition, or is it straight onto the Gatorade?
You'll have a beer straight after, but only once you've properly.
Sponsor's dream.
Exactly. But then, just X Factor and a takeaway. Nut.
Down. That's on the Sunday morning when you wake up.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Now we've got the Autumn Internationals coming up. Got a New Zealander to our right, and obviously Chris Robshaw and Ugo Monye, the English boys. How do we think it's going to go? 4 massive games at Twickenham. What are your thoughts?
Nick?
I'll go first because obviously England, New Zealand first. Look, I think obviously New Zealand have the game this weekend against Australia, which is going to give them a bit of a run. It's going to be tough for England because it's going to be their first hit out, and they're coming up against the New Zealand team, which seems to have got their game sorted. They know what they want to do, and they're very attacking style at the moment. The good thing about England is that, like we talked to the boys before, they beat Australia in Australia, and not a lot of teams do that, apart from the All Blacks. So yeah, there should be a lot of confidence there. I think the only thing that you just can't give New Zealand the ball cheaply, and I think there will be a few mistakes, obviously, with it being the first hit out of the season, and the reactions of how England fix those mistakes, because if they don't, then you're going to be seeing the Kiwi boys running from 60-70 metres scoring tries, hopefully.
Do you think it's going to be a foregone conclusion as a New Zealand fan?
I don't want to say it's going to be a foregone conclusion.
You think it?
But you think,
yeah.
If the camera wasn't here, what would you say?
I'd like to think it will be. I think I picked it last year. It was about 25 points or something like that, and I think it should probably be about that again, I would say.
Oh, 25 points from Nev. What do you boys say?
I don't know. I think for the first time since Jono's been in reign, that the summer actually prove to the players themselves that the system works, that they have belief within their patterns of play, and he's got a cool group of players together who are actually able to do the job. I think from an England perspective, it's been great to have the Harlequin Cup weekends, which is kind of your next level up to like international rugby, and hopefully that's kind of like got them battle hardened. But they've been in camp this week, they'll have next week to prepare for it. They don't have the advantage of having a game like the All Blacks will do, but there's a lot of confidence there, and I think there is a really good blend of youth, guys who are on between like 0 and 5 caps, like your Ashtons, your Courtney Laws, your Fodens. I think those guys without the fear factor and just youth or exuberance, I think they'll really go onto the pitch without any fear and just have a crack, and that could be the spark which England need. It will be a tough day. New Zealand are the best team in the world. We're playing a bit of catch up, but just like Nick says, you can't give away the ball freely. But if we're able to be clinical, capitalise on some of maybe their sloppy ball, then it'll be a tough day, but it'll be a good day hopefully.
That's the key though. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to play against the All Blacks. Australia showed that they troubled the All Blacks by actually just playing and keeping hold of the ball, and England are probably a bit guilty against New Zealand of kicking a lot of the ball away, and they've got to go out there and just hold on to the ball. And I think I'd like to see them play Flood at 10, because he's a bit more attacking mindset than Johnny, and I think that's where they need to start from, and keep the ball, big centres, and give those, you've got pace on the wing.
So halfback pairing with knowledge of each other as well, isn't it? Youngs and Flood.
Yeah, they play with each other a lot, and they're not scared to throw the ball around with Tigers, so it should be the same. It should be the same when they go with England.
Yeah, and Jono said actually at the press conference that England will learn and will be a better side for having played that game, regardless of which way it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I think regardless of any game you play, I think there's so many positive take from it, whether it's a 50-point thrashing or it's a 1-point win. You've always got to be able to look at it, take the positives and learn from it. There's no point going through a bad experience if you're not going to learn from it and try not to make the same mistakes. And it will be tough. I'm sure a lot of guys who'll be going to the game will be writing England off and expecting New Zealand to win, which probably plays into their guys' hands. It's the first hit out, like Nick said, and because they've got no pressure even though they're playing at home, which is actually quite bizarre, something which I guess we've had to get accustomed to the last few years. It'll be a good opportunity for the boys just to really enjoy the atmosphere. The fans will be behind them, the whole country will be behind them, I hope, and be a good game. Yeah,
it should be good fun. And finally, Chris, John Steele said that he thinks a good target would be 3 out of 4. Do you think that's achievable?
I think so. I mean, you kind of saw how they went down to Australia over the summer, and there's a huge belief that they can, as they beat Australia in Australia, there is that belief in the squad that they can go out there and beat kind of some of the best teams in the world. Like Nick said earlier, it's about kind of having a go at New Zealand and having a go not just at New Zealand but all these teams. And if you are going to kick well, you kind of have to get that wall chase up behind them. And if you allow kind of these international back threes to have a go, they will hurt anyone. So it's about kind of keeping hold of the ball, and I'm sure that's a realistic target. 3 out of 4.
Fantastic. Chris, Nick, Ugo, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.